This is Ricky Harbor with Subsite Electronics. Next few moments I'd like to spend going through the menu on the Subsite UtiliGuard standard and advanced receivers. First we're going to power up the receiver. And before we go into the menu, I just want to go over the buttons with you on the face of the receiver. Starting with the volume level, which is also your on-off button. We have your mode select. It's going to select between the different locating modes, such as active locating or locating the signal from your transmitter, power modes, radio modes, or beacon modes. You have your up and down arrow. You have your antenna select, which also operates secondly as a access to your menu. You have your frequency select, which also initializes your direction enabled feature on your advanced and standard units. Well, you notice some of these I mentioned had two different functions. The icons or the functions that's located on the button itself within the circle, those can be accessed by a momentary press, just pressing and releasing. You notice as I select the volume level, I adjust the volume level here on my receiver. If I press and hold it for 2 seconds, then the unit will turn on or turn off depending on the situation. This one, if I press and hold, will force a depth reading, while this will get me into the menu. So let's go ahead and go into the menu. You notice the very first item we come to is our frequencies. So we're going to use this button. You notice there's a little forward arrow on it. That forward arrow will select the highlighted menu item, while the little backwards arrow here on the mode button will back us up one level at a time. If I'm deep into the menu, I can also just momentarily press the on-off button and it will back me completely out of the menu. So let's start by selecting our frequency. You can see I have several frequencies in here that is already checked, and I have a few that are not checked. If you see one that you would like, or one that you would like to disable to enable it, I simply go to and highlight that frequency, select it, and it will place a check mark in the box beside it. To uncheck it, I simply press the same button. I can do that with all the frequency options that's loaded in the receiver. My next menu item is my settings. In settings, you notice I got several other menus. I can adjust my language of the unit, the depth units, the backlight, the auto shutdown timer, and the communications. Let's start with language. And you notice there's several different languages in here. If I scroll down through, there is a wide variety of languages to select from. We're going to go back to the top, and let's make it simple, and we're going to go ahead and select Spanish or espanol. Then when I back out, now my menu items is in Spanish. If somebody accidentally switches the language on you, as long as you're comfortable with the menu and you get used to it, you simply go back to because it's always located in the same spot. You go back in there, find your language that you would prefer, select it, then when you go back out, it's back in your preferred language. The next menu item is the units. That gives us the ability to select how our depth readings is displayed, such as inches, feet and inches, meters, or centimeters. We're going to leave it in feet and inches for now. With our backlight, you have two selections of auto or off. We're going to leave it in auto mode, but if you'll notice, we do have a photo eye located right here on the face of the receiver. In low light situations, it will sense that the light is getting dimmer and will turn on the backlight automatically. Our shutdown timer is how long after the last button press that it will stay on before the unit automatically shuts down. Factory default is 5 minutes, but I have selected 10 minutes simply because of the training atmosphere that I deal in. I went ahead and moved it up to 10 minutes so that I don't have one shutting off in the middle of training. Our next menu selection in here is our communications. This gives us the ability to turn our communication radios on or off. In the standard and the advanced units, we both will see the radio on-off as well as the second selection of Bluetooth. Bluetooth gives us the ability to connect a GPS device to our receiver for mapping purposes. On the advanced units only will be the next three menu selections. And that gives you the ability to link or unlink your transmitter to your receiver. That gives you the ability to control output levels, frequencies, and output leads without walking all the way back to the transmitter. You can do it right from your receiver. And we'll show you how that function operates here in a little while. Our next menu item, options. Let's go to that. Here in the audio, we have multiple audio options you can select from. We got two audio modes, a pitch mode and a volume mode. Do you want, as you are pinpointing the line, do you want it to change by pitch, or do you want it to change by volume? That's going to be personal preference, as well as audio style. You can listen to both of those styles, see which one you prefer. The center beep gives you the ability to turn your center beep on or off, meaning that when you're directly over your target line and your diamond appears, as soon as that diamond appears, the receiver will beep at you to let you know that you are over your target line. Your gain, you got two selections there, manual or semi-auto. In manual mode, you can adjust this, raise and lower the sensitivity of your receiver 1 decibel at a time by pressing your up and down arrows. In semi-auto mode, it will, as soon as you press either the up or down, it will automatically adjust to half scale. We're going to leave it in manual mode. I kind of prefer that myself. But again, that's personal preference. Your left, right arrows, that's your guidance arrows, telling you what direction you need to go to get back towards your target line. Some operators may choose to turn the left, right arrows off. They may be more used to just listening to the sound and looking at the signal strength. That's personal preference there. Auto depth means that when your diamond appears, it will automatically give you a depth. Or you can choose to manually have the depth appear by selecting the manual mode. Offset depth is only available on the advanced units. With offset depth, there may be situations where you have obstacles in your way, such as shrubs, trees, outbuildings, or even vehicles that has parked on top of your target line that you're tracing out. In those instances, you can get off to the side, trace it, place the receiver on the ground, angle it toward the point it or tilt it toward the target line until the diamond appears, and as long as that receiver is between 10 degrees and 60 degrees, it will display a vertical depth to your target line as well as a horizontal distance to your line. Your next menu item is your information menu, and it gives you the model number, what type of receiver you have, serial number, as well as software version, manufacture date, and as well as calibrated date. The next two items are only on the advanced receivers. Your aim or ambient interference measurement. When you select that, it's going to go through and scan above your target line the different frequencies that you have in your receiver, loaded in your receiver, and give you a smiley face or frowny face to tell you which frequencies have the least amount of interference. Smiley face, minimal interference. Frowny face, a little more interference, you may not want to choose those. Okay, the last menu item we have is TX control. Again, this is only located on the advanced receivers. And this gives us ability to provide a little bit of control of our transmitter without having to walk all the way back to it. There's two items in this menu that we have control over. First being the power level, and the second being the dual output leads. You notice that the power level bars are flashing. That means we currently have control over those, and we can increase our power level simply by hitting our frequency button, and you can see as I do that, the power level will go up. I'm going to go ahead and take it back down just to conserve battery for during this video. Now to toggle to our next control, which is our output leads, on the advanced units you have the option of having dual output leads. With these dual output leads, you have your common black, which attaches to your ground. Then you have a red and a white lead. The red lead is indicated by the grayed out lead on our display here, while the white lead is indicated by our clear or our white lead on our display. To toggle to that, we simply press the up or down arrow, and we want that one to start flashing. Once it starts flashing, we can toggle between the leads simply by hitting our frequency button, and to toggle back, we hit it one more time. This works great whenever we're having multiple utilities we need to locate on a site. We can hook to two separate utilities, select the lead that we want to trace first, trace that utility out to the end, remotely switch to the other lead, and then trace the other utility back to the transmitter, saving time where time is money. That concludes everything in the menu. A couple of additional items I want to show you with the TX control or the transmitter control to control the frequency while you're back at your locate screen. Now when you're locating the transmitter, you want to remember you want to see our target line with our frequency circles around it or our magnetic field around it. That's our active locate icon. telling us we are locating a signal from our transmitter. To change that frequency, we simply press the frequency button. Not only does it change it on the receiver, but it will change it on the transmitter as well. And as we scroll through, it continues on. A real quick glance to ensure that you are connected to your transmitter. When you first turn your receiver on, you will notice that this little chain link in the lower left-hand corner will flash. That means it is looking for your transmitter. Once it makes connection to the transmitter, it will become a solid chain link as we see. If there's a little F, very similar to what we see right here to indicate frequency down below that, what that is telling us is that the frequency we have selected on our receiver is not currently available on the transmitter. That could be one of two reasons. Reason one could be that we have our transmitter in broadcast mode and we've selected a frequency lower than 8 kilohertz. Anything lower than 8 kilohertz will not transmit in broadcast, therefore it's not available. And that's just letting us know that that frequency isn't available. It could also be that you have selected a frequency that's enabled on the receiver but has not been enabled on the transmitter. Simply go into your transmitter menu, select frequencies, and then place a check mark beside that frequency in the transmitter, and then you'll be able to utilize that frequency that you just selected. You may also see a triangle with an exclamation mark located below your chain link. This will indicate that you have lost communication with your transmitter. That could happen for a couple of reasons. One, you may have gone beyond the range of the radio, further than the 800 meters or 2,500 feet that the range for this is. Also, you may have some obstacle in between you and the transmitter, not allowing the receiver and the transmitter to communicate. Either way, just come a little closer or try to get back into view and you'll see it, the chain link come back up and you'll have communication again. Hope this video was beneficial for you. Feel free to watch the other UtiliGuard videos located on the Subsite YouTube page. And if you have any other questions, feel free to contact your local dealership. Thanks for watching.